Welcome to the Effortless English Show with the world's #1 English teacher, AJ Hogue, where AJ's more than 40 million students worldwide finally learn English once and for all, without the boring textbooks, classrooms, and grammar drills. Here's AJ with a quick piece to help you learn to speak fluent English effortlessly.
Hi, I'm AJ Hogue. Welcome to the Effortless English Show, the show that teaches you to speak English powerfully. Go to effortlessenglishclub.com and try my VIP program for just $1. Have you ever lost your motivation to study English, to learn English? You know what I'm talking about, when you're just unable to push yourself to study. Now, I know you have big goals for English. You want to speak English fluently. You want to sound like a native speaker. You want to speak English powerfully. Maybe you want to get a great score on the TOEFL exam. You have big goals for English. But sometimes, you get up and you think, I need to study English today. And then when it's time to do it, you just lose all your motivation. And you just don't want to do it. You don't want to read. You don't want to study. You don't want to listen. No motivation at all. What's worse is sometimes this lack of motivation can continue for many, many days, or even weeks, or if it's really bad, for a month or longer. It's quite stressful sometimes. You know you have these big goals, you want to do something with English, you want to succeed, you want to speak well, but when it's time to do it each day, no motivation to do it. Well, last Sunday I had the same problem. Not with English, but with exercise. In fact, I've had a problem with motivation and exercise for several months now. And it's gotten worse and worse and worse. And Sunday was terrible. So I got up in the morning and I said to myself, it's time to exercise. So I got myself a drink of water. I went over and I got down onto the floor. I was going to do some push-ups. Start with push-ups. So I got on the floor. I'm on my knees, ready to start doing push-ups. And right at that moment, right when it's time to start doing the push-ups, it felt like all my energy just disappeared. Whew, gone. I felt like suddenly I was really, really weak. I feel so weak. My arms felt weak, my body felt weak, no physical energy. And then mentally, I had no motivation at all to do exercise. What happened? I woke up, I had enough sleep the night before. There's no reason I should be tired, I just got up. I was well rested, and yet no motivation to do push-ups. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna think about my big goals. I have some big goals. In November, I want to do a big, long hike in the Himalayan mountains. It's going to be at least 2 weeks. So I thought about, I'm going to get myself strong for that. Do some push-ups, some pull-ups, and then go for a run. But as I thought about that big goal, I actually felt even less motivated. It just seemed so difficult. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to go running. I don't want to do push-ups and pull-ups. That's what I was thinking in my mind. So I stared at the floor for a little bit longer. And then I stood up, walked into the kitchen, and made breakfast. Didn't exercise at all. And guess what that did to me? That made me start feeling guilty, because then I started having these thoughts in my head. AJ, what's wrong with you? Why are you being so lazy? Why aren't you motivated? You need to exercise. You need to get in better shape. So I'm fighting with myself in my own mind as I'm making breakfast. Made me feel even worse, but no more motivation. I still didn't exercise. I didn't exercise the whole day. This has been happening to me almost every day for the past several months. And it's gotten worse and worse, and these feelings of frustration and guilt at myself have been getting worse and worse and worse. And so finally, that night, Sunday night, I decided I've got to figure this out. I've got to find a solution to this because this is really bothering me now. So the next day, I went to my favorite coffee shop in my neighborhood here in San Francisco. And I just sat down and I started thinking about this problem. I started asking myself questions. And I had my journal. Every day I write in my journal. Just write down my ideas and thoughts. So I sat down with a pen and paper, and started asking myself questions and thinking. And the first question I thought was, why am I so unmotivated to exercise? Right? What's wrong? Because in the past, earlier this year, when I was in Japan, in the wintertime, I was super motivated. I was going to the gym almost every day. I was lifting heavy weights. I was running. I was doing pull-ups and push-ups, lots of them. I was in fantastic shape, great fitness level, and super motivated to exercise. So I started thinking about this question, what's wrong? What's different now? It's only, 6 months later. Why the big change? What's wrong with me? Why am I so unmotivated? Why is it so tough for me just to do a few push-ups and go for a little jog? So I thought more and more about it, and I started thinking, what's different now in my life compared to then? And I finally found a solution. I got an answer. This happens sometimes when you just think about a problem enough, every day, and you get a journal and you start writing your ideas, and suddenly you'll get this idea, this clear answer to your question. Sometimes it takes hours, sometimes it takes days or weeks, but it will come if you keep thinking about it and keep asking yourself the question. So I got an answer. And before I share the answer with you, let's go to a quick Twitter question. So lots of good Twitter questions this week. I wrote down a few of them. Let's answer the first one now. So the first one is from Satrom Kare, and he says, I want to be a great speaker. How can I do this? Now, I'm assuming that he's asking about being a public speaker. Right? How can I be a great public speaker, give presentations and to groups of people and be great at it? Because great public speakers, we know, they make lots of money, they're very influential, they can be great leaders and very successful people. So that skill of being a great public speaker, it is very useful in life, in your career. But a lot of people are afraid of it. Now, I can, and in the future, I will make a whole course about public speaking, so I can give lots of answers. So let me just give you one short, easy answer to this question, and we'll have to save the long answers for another day. The short answer is, you've got to practice every day. One thing I've noticed with people and public speaking is that a lot of people avoid it because it makes them feel afraid and nervous. And I understand that. It's natural. It's a common human fear to be afraid of standing in front of a big group of people and giving a speech. A lot of people are afraid of that. But that fear prevents people from practicing. And if you don't practice, you don't get better. To get better at almost anything, we need consistent practice, right? I mean, think about it. You got to practice almost every day. That's how you get better. And if you practice something almost every day, if you do it in an intelligent way, then almost certainly you'll get better. So the problem is with public speaking is that the practice is really, really painful and scary. So I recommend you start by doing daily public speaking practice with just a camera, because it's much less scary. You don't have a group of people looking at you, but you can still practice your techniques and your method. So you can just use a phone. Get a phone, an iPhone or something, or any kind of smartphone, and record yourself, hit record, and then give a 5-minute speech about any topic. Doesn't matter. At the end of the 5 minutes, then go back and watch yourself on video. And you're an intelligent person, so you'll quickly see things you're doing badly. You'll say, oh, that sounds bad. Ooh, that looks bad. So you'll be able to start coaching yourself by using the videos. Consistency is the key thing. That means doing it every single day. And just this little practice, 5-minute speech every day, record yourself on video, and then watch it and look for things you don't like. Just that consistent little practice every day will help you become a much better public speaker. All right, let's go back to our main topic. And in fact, this Twitter question is kind of related to the main topic. Because I was sitting in the coffee shop thinking, okay, what's different? The first thing I realized was that when I was in Japan, I wasn't really very busy doing much. I wasn't really doing much work for Effortless English or for the business. I didn't have a lot happening in my life. And so I had a lot of time and, more importantly, a lot of energy to focus on exercising. I could use my willpower to discipline myself and make myself exercise every day. And what I realized is that and I think most people, have a limited amount of willpower. Now, in English, when we say willpower, we're talking about the energy, the mental energy we use to discipline ourselves, to push ourselves to do something difficult or unpleasant. So, for example, to watch a television show really requires no willpower. If you like the show, then it's easy. You don't need to force yourself to do it. It's not difficult and it's not unpleasant. So you just turn on the TV and you watch it. No willpower necessary. However, to study something does require some willpower. Even using the Effortless English system and you're listening to interesting things, you still must concentrate, right? If you're going to learn, you need to concentrate. And concentration requires some mental energy. It requires willpower. Now, to do something that's very, very unpleasant, something you hate, that's also very, very difficult, that requires a lot of willpower. You can think of it almost like a little battery in your mind, kind of the willpower battery. And each of us has a limited amount each day to use. So here's the problem. Here's what I realized. I realized I was using my willpower in Japan for daily exercise. But since I've come to San Francisco for the summer, I've been really, really busy. I've been working on my book, trying to get my book finished and then published. I've been planning new lessons and doing lots of recording, lots and lots and lots of work for Effortless English and for the business. In other words, what I'm doing is I'm using my willpower, my mental discipline. I'm using that energy for the business. And what I realized is I don't have much left to discipline myself to exercise. So that was an important realization. We have limited amount of willpower, and if we use it a lot in one area of life, then we might not have enough for something else. So that got me thinking more. I'm like, okay, what can I do? Well, I still need to do a lot of this work in my business. So I thought, what if I made the exercise so easy that it required no willpower at all? Maybe that would help me start to be consistent again. Right? To start consistently exercising every single day. And if I get consistent, then I'll naturally start to get a little stronger. And then I can very slowly increase that amount. And in the future, in a few months, when I'm not busy with the business so much, and I have more willpower, then I can really be strong with exercise. So I decided to try an experiment. Here's my experiment. Actually, I'll tell you about the experiment in a second. Let's take one more Twitter question. This is two people asked the same question. Antasari and F.E. Pare. And they both asked me, are you going to visit Indonesia this year? And the answer to that question is, I'm not sure yet. Still planning the last details of my trip for the fall and the winter. I definitely will be visiting Vietnam and probably Malaysia too. And I'm not sure about Indonesia. I may visit Indonesia or Myanmar. I'm not sure. I'll let you know the details of my plan. I'll know in a month or so exactly where I'm going for the whole trip, and I'll let you know. I'll put it on Twitter so you'll know. Generally, this question I get all the time. Are you coming to my country? When are you coming to my country? And for me to come and do an event in another country, I need a team. I need local people in that country who will help organize an event. Now, these people are professional event organizers. They're companies that do this. And I need to have a good contact, a good event organizing company in a country, in a city, for me to do an event because I can't do it by myself. Doing a big event, a big speech, a big seminar for a lot of people, it requires a team. You need a team of people to do registration, to find the rooms, to set up the rooms, to get the sound system, the lighting system. It requires a team. So if I don't come to your country, it's not because I don't like your country. It's simply because I don't have a good event organizer in your city yet. Maybe that'll change in the future. All right, let's go back to our story. Consistency. So my experiment, I decided instead of focusing on my big goals and the big challenges and all these things I want to do with my body and my fitness, instead I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to make some super easy daily goals. Something I can do with almost no willpower at all and see what happens. So I chose 3 goals. Number 1, walking. Not running, not sprinting, just walking. And I decided for me, 3 miles a day is very, very easy. In fact, just in my normal day going shopping and walking around, I usually at least walk 1.5 miles. And that's with no effort at all. And usually because I like walking, I like to walk with my wife and we just go for little walks and chat with each other. We usually walk 2.5 to 3 miles a day anyway. So I decided 3 miles a day requires almost no willpower, so that's my daily goal. I also decided I was going to measure it. So I got this little thing, it's called a pedometer. Ped is like pedestrian, it means walking. So pedometer measures your walking. And what it does is each time you step, it measures the step. So you enter into this little machine, how long is your step, average, and then I just wear this thing all day. I put it on my belt, and as I walk around, it measures, and at the end of the day, it tells me how far I've walked each day. And so I can check it during the day and make sure that by the end of the day, I always get at least 3 miles. I started doing this on Monday, and just this little easy goal, because it's very easy for me, and the little measurement device has helped me to go walking every single day. I've done it every day this week so far. And just to be sure, I'm measuring it and I'm tracking it. So for me, I just write it in my journal. I write the date and then I write how many miles I walked. So we have 2 main points here. Number 1 is consistency, something that you're doing every single day. And number 2, that it's super easy. And I guess the third point is that you're measuring it. It's something measurable. The other 2 goals I decided on were push-ups. Now, instead of trying to make myself do a lot of push-ups, to make myself really strong, like I said, back in January, I was probably doing 100 push-ups a day. I decided, let's make it super easy. So my goal was 15 push-ups a day, which is super easy for me. I can do that in about 30 seconds or less. Since I chose that super easy goal, I've done 15 push-ups every single day this week so far. And then for pull-ups, I also chose an easy goal, which for me is 7 pull-ups per day. What's great is that I've done it every single day. I'm tracking it. As I said, I'm writing it down. And I'm building the consistency, right? I'm not doing anything very difficult. It requires almost no willpower at all. And because of that, I am actually doing it. And what's cool is just by doing this, just by being consistent each day, I'm starting to rebuild the habit. And as I do that, the motivation is returning. I can feel myself getting a little more motivated to exercise again. A cool little trick for when you're not motivated. Now, how can you use this yourself with English learning? Let's talk about that in a second. First of all, our next Twitter question from Dodo. He asks, what books do you recommend for English teachers? So I've got a few English teachers who follow me on Twitter, and sometimes they ask me for advice, how can I teach English better? What books do you recommend? Things like that. The main book I would recommend is by Blaine Ray. His last name is R-A-Y, Blaine Ray. And the book is called Fluency Through TPR Storytelling. Fluency Through TPR Storytelling. You can get that on Blaine Ray's website or on Amazon. It's a great book for English teachers. Any language teacher, in fact, not only English. And this book teaches you the storytelling technique for teaching language. So it's an excellent book. and it's always the main book I recommend for any language teachers. Fluency Through TPR Storytelling. All right, let's get back to our topic. What can you do when you're not motivated? You know, when you sit down to study English and then you feel all the motivation just leave you. You suddenly feel weak and tired. And then what do? You turn on the TV, you call your friend, you listen to some music, anything except English. Well, at those moments, you can't push yourself. That's a sign that you're using your willpower for something else, right? That your willpower's low. And so you don't have enough to force yourself to be concentrated and to really do something difficult. So try what I am doing now. Instead of trying to make yourself study a lot each day, instead of focusing on your big dreams and goals for speaking perfect English, instead, just make a super, super easy daily goal. Then measure it and track it. What do I mean by super easy? Here's an example. How about you just write down, I will listen to English 10 minutes every day. I mean, that is so easy. You don't need to push yourself to do that. No willpower is necessary. 10 minutes, you could listen 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes at night, and then you're done. So really easy. So super easy daily goal. And then what? The next thing is track it. So each day, as you listen to English, just look at the clock when you start, and then look at the clock when you finish. And then make a little note as you do this all through the day, and at the end of the day, add it up and write down the total amount of English listening you did each day. That's it. That's it. Really simple. What you'll find is that as you do this, number one, because it's such an easy goal, and if 10 minutes is too much, make it 5 minutes, whatever. You can make it 1 minute. Because it's so easy, your brain, this is a little kind of a psychological trick, a mind trick. Because it's so easy, it requires no willpower. So if you say, I got to listen to English 5 minutes today, you kind of unconsciously, your brain says, that's easy, I can do that, and you'll just do it. You'll do it because it feels so super easy, and you don't need to make any effort to do it. But what's really cool is that by doing it each day, by getting the consistency going again, something natural and wonderful happens. You will find, with no effort at all, you will naturally start listening a little longer. So maybe your goal is only 10 minutes per day. And maybe you do that for a week or 2 weeks, but after a couple of weeks, your motivation will just start to grow again. And then you'll notice, I listened 15 minutes today, and then 20, and then 25, and then 30, and it'll start coming back. Give it a try. Give this a try. When you're unmotivated. Now, if you have a lot of motivation for English right now, you probably don't need to do this. Focus on your big goals, push yourself, that's great. But if you're tired, if you're feeling unmotivated, if you're really busy with other things in your life, try this technique of choosing super, super easy daily goals and measuring them every day. All right, we got one more Twitter question, and then the Effortless English News, and then we're done. All right, our last one. Oh, yeah, this one. Zeketron asks, or actually says, my friends always judge me about my English speaking, and they always correct my mistakes, and they tell everyone else about my mistakes. So they kind of making fun of this person. They're constantly criticizing him or her, I'm not sure, and saying bad things because they make a lot of English mistakes, I guess. So they're asking, what should I do? What can I do about this? Because it creates a lot of fear. In another tweet, they said it makes me really afraid to speak. And, I give this answer a lot of times when I get these kinds of questions. And my first answer is find better friends. Why do you want to be around people who make you feel bad, who criticize you, who make fun of you because you make mistakes in English? So what? Who make you feel afraid and they kill your confidence. Those are not nice people. You don't need to be around them. Find better friends is my main answer. Find better people to speak English with. I don't know from this Twitter question, I don't know if these are native speakers like Americans, Canadians, or if they're also English students. It doesn't matter. Either way, most people in the world just want to communicate with you. They just want to hear your ideas. They want to share ideas with you, share their feelings. So find people who share some interest with you. If you love sports, find other people who love sports and chat with them in English about that. But most importantly, find people who are positive and friendly and you like to be around. Your friends should make you feel stronger, not weaker. Or else they're not very good friends. Good friends make you feel better about yourself. I love my friends. I have a few very special, close friends, and they always make me feel like a better person. They make me feel stronger. They make me feel more confident. Those are the kind of friends you want. Those are the kind of people you want to practice English with. Those few negative people, just get rid of them. Remove them from your life. Move on. Find better friends. Okay. Let's go on to the Effortless English news. Not much news for this week because I'm going camping. So Tomoe and I, my wife and I, and Kristen and Joe, my two best friends, we're all going into the woods, in Northern California. We're going to camp under the redwood trees. Those are those giant trees, like bigger than a car. Those huge trees. Up in Northern California, there's a state park that has lots of those redwoods, and we're going to go camping there and do some hiking. I'm going to do it for the whole week of this week. What that means is I will not be on Twitter. I will not be answering email. I will not be on Facebook. I will not be online at all. So don't worry if you don't see any tweets from me or if you don't hear from me this week. I'm offline in the woods having a good time. I'll be back next weekend. All right, well, that's it for our show. Have a great day. Enjoy your English learning and go to effortlessenglishclub.com. Try my VIP program for $1 and learn more about the Effortless English system. See you next time. Bye for now.